In the previous lecture, we changed the title that is being displayed inside of our applications. We learned that now with the title view, we can set pretty much anything that we want inside of these titles. Now, of course, this may not be the best result, but still, without having to change the icon, we could make a change right away, because we were faced with this scenario in which in iOS, we have the white background, so we would need a dark text. But for Android, we actually have a blue background, so maybe a white text or a light color would work better. Of course, you could always change this by changing the background so it matches on both platforms. So on both platforms, you have the exact same color, but in this lecture, I want to show you how from SAML, you can define the value of a specific property to be different on Android than it is on iOS. For this, I really want to focus on something that is new in Xamarin 3.2 as well, just as is the title view. And so what I will do is show you how for this label that we have inside of the title view, we can make it remain black on iOS but change to white when it comes to Android. And so if you weren't familiar with this is something that we have been able to do for a while. I will show you what is it that is new in Xamarin Forms 3.2, but for a while you have been able to, in any element, for example, let's take a look at this label, come here and define inside of the label a few elements. You would, in this case, go ahead and take a look at the text color, which is the property with which we can change this. So you would go ahead and write label.textColor, and inside of that you would have to make the definition like this with an opening and a closing bracket. So inside you define an on-platform element, and inside of the on-platform element you define each of the platforms that you need. However, it always did feel like a ton of text to write to simply set a different value for Android and iOS. And so, new in Xamarin Forms 3.2, you can do that directly from here. All you have to do, and this is what is new in Xamarin 3.2, is write. Notice that as soon as I add these curly brackets, I now see the on-platform extension. And what's better is that you have a lot of platforms in here. Really the ones that we care about are Android and iOS. So let me go ahead and set that Android is going to be white and iOS is going to be black. And I could also define default. Right now these pretty much are the only platforms that I support, but I could set that the default is going to be black, like this. And this literally is everything that you need to do. Now, if we go ahead and run this again on Android, we are going to see now that the text color is white. And let me just stop this and show you that in iOS, it is going to remain black. So while it opens, let me just open the Finance app again right here from Android. And when it runs on iOS, we're going to see that the color is different. It is still black. And it's now very easy to set a different value for these properties per platform. And of course, this would work on any property that you want. Pretty much any property that you need in any of the elements, we could do something like this. For example, even the source of the image, you could set a different string if the name of your icons were different on Android and iOS. I did mention in the previous lecture precisely to set the source that they had to be the same. Well, they have to be the same if you only want to set one string, but you could always set it to something different. So if on Android in your resources, in your drawables, you had another icon, another image that you want to set as the source for this image, and it's not exactly called the same thing as it is on iOS, but you want the other one that is called the same to be there still, you can always just do something like this. Write on platform Android equal the string of the name of the drawable that you do want to set, and iOS equal and the string, let's say that in this case icon.png. So this probably is opening a ton of possibilities for you, like it did to me the first time I learned about it. And again, this is the thing that is new in Xamarin 3.2, that you can set this directly on one line of code. While previously you really had to define many different levels inside of your elements, and that wasn't really that useful. And while I didn't do that here, you can of course in here set some resources. So for example, I'm just going to define these resources directly inside of the content page, but I'm sure you're familiar with this, especially if you have taken one of my previous courses. If you have inside of your content page some resources and you want to reuse them along many different pages, the best thing would be to define them inside of the app.xaml, like we have these two colors. So these two colors are reusable throughout the entire application. But let me just go ahead and define inside of the content page the resource dictionary, and I will go ahead and define colors. So let's say that I have these two colors, one for Android accent and one for iOS accent. So what I want to show you in here is that right now I just set the name of the color that I want in here. Of course, these colors have to be some value that is available, but we could also set this to a static resource like this. So static resources binding still works while using the on platform. And let me just set the same. Let me just set also a static resource over here, but with the iOS accent for iOS, and the default will remain black. But now, let me just show you that a static resource does work. And of course, this is not going to build. I'm defining the resources twice. Let me change this to navigation page, which is actually what I need, because of course I'm defining the title view of the navigation page. So let's just set the resources for the navigation page, from where these static resources are going to be available. And now let me try this again, run on Android and iOS. And let me show you both results in here. On iOS, now we see that blue color, and on Android we see that green color, which is what these accents are. Of course, this is not a great color to show in front of a blue color, but you can see how we can still use static resources even if we use this on-platform extension. So there you have it. This is something that you were of course able to use before, but I just wanted to show you how you can do it now with Xamarin Forms 3.2.